Okay, hi. So, I just recorded that entire video and then realized I didn't have my audio on. So, this is take two. But you know what, that's alright. So, let's scroll all the way back up to the top for a minute. I guess I should start with why I'm recording a video rather than literally anything else. Why I'm not making a stream of consciousness rant or a or just a classic essay. And this is because I like reading. Don't get me. Sorry, not reading. I like writing. Oh my god, I'm very tired. I like writing. Don't get me wrong. But I just find it difficult, especially when I am uh, writing about myself in kind of a formal manner. I find, I learned English for a reason, so I'm gonna use it. If that makes any sense. So yeah, that's why I'm here making a video. Rather than anything else. And you'll also notice, presumably, that there is some gameplay put over this. This is Batman Origins, and I guess the reason I did this is because I don't like just looking at someone's face for 15 minutes. It's not particularly interesting, and at least this should give you something to look at, and also it's a talking point for me. I love Batman. I love superheroes in general, but Batman is one of my favorite superheroes. Just because I find there's something excellently simple about his stories that translate really well to almost all forms of media, and despite what, modern interpretations of Batman might have you believe, he's not difficult to pull off. He's not. We've had some really bad Batmans in the last few years. As if you care about this kind of thing, I'm sure you will know. So, yeah, this is why I'm here. Batman is one of my favorite superheroes, and but really, it's not Batman that I like so much as it is all of his other sidekicks, because I really like Robin. I think that, I think that people underestimate the power of a duo superhero. They don't, they forget Robin, or they treat him as kind of a joke, but he's very important to the dynamic. So that's why I'm playing this Batman game. So my dreams, just dreams, goals. Let's see, what's something I've got some goals. I'd like to, graduate high school, and then I'd like to join the Coast Guard for a little bit. Really, use that to build up some money, and also get me those veteran discounts for things like college and whatnot. And then I'd like to study anthropology. I love history almost as much as I love English. And I think studying anthropology would just be a great way to really expand on that. Don't know what I'd do with it after I had it, but that's not for me to figure out yet, is it? That's future me's problem. So, interests outside of school. I love video games, TTRPGs too. Dungeons and Dragons, Call of Cthulhu, things like that. If you ask me, one of the best forms of storytelling just because of how much time you get to dedicate to understanding your characters, right? It's not like a book where you like can't do more than like 1,000 pages before people just lose interest, right? People are people are very willing to spend 100 hours playing a video game, right? Or playing a Dungeons and Dragons game. Sorry, I kind of lost track of my thoughts there. So how am I doing? That's the next thing down. I'm doing all right now, but my God, have the last 18 months been a doozy? Like, I'm honestly amazed I made it through there, and because I don't learn well online. I never have. This is a simple fact about me. I took ASL online for 2 years, and found it was just one of the most difficult things I'd ever done. So that was not fun. Being forced into that. Let's see. So yeah, I'm doing all right now. We're back in person. It should be a lot easier to learn. But I'm happy. I'm grateful I passed all my classes. That was not a given with me learning online. Oh, I don't know what's going on with that. I'm just clicking. So, looking forward to this semester. Honestly, I'm looking forward to your class. I really like English and literature classes. They're probably my best subject. And I just think there's a lot to learn about American literature, and even if it's not necessarily my favorite kind of class, I guess it should be good. So that'll leads me pretty neatly into, I guess, another excellent point, which is to talk about my history when it comes to reading and writing and being a student, because you asked me to do that, didn't you? So, I was not always a reader, but this is not to say I didn't consume literature. Because when I was young, very young, like a baby, my mom learned that rather than having to read to me, if she could put on an audiobook and just put me in her lap, and then do something with her hands, like knit, or read a different book. So that is so the first book I think I ever remember like consuming was Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone. Sorry, Philosopher's Stone. Because I think that really started a lifelong love of fantasy for me. It got to the point where I was listening to Harry Potter so often as a little kid that I could quote entire chapters from memory. I can't do it anymore, but I used to be able to. Pick up exactly where the CD would leave off because it was scratched or anything, because we were on CDs still. No Audible back then. Anyways, as a writer, I've been a writer for a long time, almost as long as I've been consuming literature. In kindergarten, it would happen where I would come down at 2 in the morning, and drag my mom out of bed and be like, Mom, write this down for me, because of course I hadn't figured out typing yet. That's actually a very recent occurrence, like of the last 4 years that I've actually learned how to type. And so she would write these stories that I would dictate to her, and we would spend hours doing this, and I'd be so exhausted by the end of it that my mom would call in and be like, I'm sorry, Griffith's not going to be in school today because he spent the last 4 hours writing this story and is now, crashed out on the couch because it took so much energy. So that should kind of give you a sense of where I am as a writer. I've been writing for a long time, but I'm not necessarily great at the writing part of it, like the physical getting the words on the page. I know what I want to say, and I think, but I don't like putting it there. As a student, I'm not the greatest student, never have been. I've gotten much better in recent years, now that I feel like the teachers kind of care, because I've had some bad teachers. That's not to say all my teachers were bad. I've had some excellent ones as well, but especially at Open, I'm pretty sure you said you had a daughter there. I am highly critical of Open, especially its middle school program. I feel like a lot of the teachers are not great, but Diane, Tori, a lot of the K1-2 teachers are alright, but I really cannot recommend the middle school program at Open very much. But now that I'm here at Community, I feel like there's at least that they care. I think I'm doing much better as a student. Not great, mind you. That's part of my executive function disorders. I find it very hard to do things like homework or take notes, which annoyingly are seemingly inexorable parts of the school system in America. So let me wrap this up. Because I'm probably running short on time here. I've only got 15 minutes on my screen recorder. Okay. This is some very practical information. What works well for me? I like it when my teachers treat me at least as nominal equals. I just find that it's easier to talk to someone when there's at least the illusion that you're on somewhat of the same level. Not that I think you would ever talk down to students, but it can happen. There's a few people at the building, in Community that do it, and I find it incredibly frustrating and totally destroys my ability to work with them in many ways. So yeah, that's what really works well. I find teachers who allow lots of in-class discussion to work especially well. Because that's really part of where I excel. I'm very good at discussions and debates and things like that. I spent years in youth and government. I've taken leadership classes. It's a thing I can do. And I think so that's really what works well for me for teachers. There's one last thing I'd really like to talk about before I sign off, and that is fantasy. My favorite genre is fantasy. Not just of literature, but for movies, for games, all of it. I love